let's kick it over to Republican declared gubernatorial candidate Nickolas Wildstar. And if you could just introduce yourself and realize that we're here to workshop and get you those answers. We will not tell you to go fetch. We are here shoulder to shoulder, okay? And I think you got some support staff on this call as well. So know that if you embrace the electoral precinct strategy system, you're gonna be known in Cali. So please take the mic.
Absolutely. Well, thank you first, Michael, for inviting me. Michael is actually a staffer and advisor for my campaign for California governor. And as he said, my name again is Nickolas Wildstar. I'm a declared Republican candidate for California governor in 2022. I was the 2018 Libertarian candidate for California governor. And that's actually where I guess I would say I cut my teeth with regards to political experience, although I was involved in the 2012 presidential campaign for Dr. Ron Paul out here in California. So I was involved in his campaign pursuits for president here, and then was motivated by him to run for office myself. So I ran for governor in 2014, then as I said, ran again in 2018, where I was endorsed by the Libertarian Party and gained more political party experience. So I have extensive knowledge or experience going door to door, talking to people face to face, phone banking, cold calling, all of that good stuff. More recently, I've been involved in the petition effort to recall Gavin Newsom, the current governor. And thankfully, due to that effort, I was able to meet thousands of people face to face just by standing at a table with a sign saying recall Gavin Newsom and a petition on the table. So I was able to speak with more people, and I again was instrumental in that effort here in my county, Fresno County, where I live, and was able to gather thousands of signatures towards that effort, and we were successful. It was one of the largest volunteer efforts, petition efforts for initiative in the country. We needed to collect 1.4 million plus signatures in order to have that recall effort be valid. We collected over 2 million, and we just got word recently from the Secretary of State that over 1.6 million of those signatures are eligible. So that recall election has been triggered after this 30-day signature withdrawal period. If those signatures still stand, then we will be having a special election here in California, most likely sometime in the late fall. So I'll be, again, filing to run as a candidate for the recall election, and have lots of people that I know here in Fresno County that was involved in that recall effort, other volunteers that are looking for another way to get involved and not let this people's effort to regain control over our political system here in the state go to a waste. Because if the powers that be, the money, the controllers, if they have their way, then they'll be, investing tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into Gavin Newsom. They already have, just to start a anti-recall campaign. So he's been going around doing press conferences, talking about how this is an extremist right-wing effort, Trump supporters, and a Republican power push to overthrow the Democratic Party, which has a trifecta control over the state government. So we really do have a one-party system here in California, and have had that over the past 10 years. So the people of California are looking for something different. The one thing about the California Republican is they're not mainstream news Republicans. So although you may have a growing number of Trump supporters, here in the state of California. The reason why he did not win the state of California is because of a lot of his policies, mainly having to do with fiscal responsibility. You know, he campaigned on building a wall that Mexico would pay for. Taxpayers foot the bill for that. He campaigned on making monetary policy changes to possibly get us back on the gold standard. That hasn't happened. He made tax cuts, or actually he removed tax cuts for the people of California as a punishment. And that didn't really go over well with the hardworking people and, you know, small business owners here in the state either. So when it comes to the California Republican, their identity is very specific. They don't really care about marijuana use. They don't really care about, you know, one's sexual orientation or what they choose to do there, just as long as government isn't involved in that choice. And of course, as taxpayers, we don't have to foot the bill for it. So I want to go out and introduce myself as that candidate that can win for the Republicans. If you look at my campaign platform on my website, wildstar2022.com, it's a pretty wide-ranged platform. So it's a cross-party platform that appeals to the left as well as the right. So for the liberals as well as the conservatives, I'm that candidate that will be able to bridge the gap. The one thing is because I'm anti-establishment, most likely I won't get support from any of the powers that be, you know, mainly the unions and, you know, big banks, et cetera. They won't be funding my campaign. So it's 100% grassroots. And I know that with a good ground game, I'd be able to gain more name recognition, because that's really what politics is all about. It's popularity contests. And John Cox, even though he's a very well-known millionaire, spent hundreds of millions of his own money, ended up losing against Gavin Newsom. So that's why he's still iffy about if he wants to invest that amount of money again into winning over the people of California. But you're not going to be able to do that without appealing to those people that have supported the Democrats throughout this past decade or so. So that's what I'm offering as a candidate for the Republican Party. I'm hoping to get involved here in my precinct or in my district, District 3 in Fresno. I don't know how many precincts there are. I'll definitely find out. But I know that the Republican Party here in Fresno and California in general is non-existent. They don't really have much of a presence. Like Dan said, if you ask any of the Republican voters if they've ever met a party representative, they would tell you no. So they don't even know who they are. We held events here to, you know, raise awareness about the recall. They weren't involved in that at all. It was more so being pushed by the recall organizers and independent groups, like somebody was talking about 1776 Forever Free. We Have Rights, another organization that I was affiliated with over the summer that was instrumental in getting tens of thousands of people out protesting against the lockdowns here in the state. And I was actually an organizer for one of their events and emceed, you know, for one of the events as well. So I'm doing my best as I can to just gain more attention as a candidate. And I know that by getting involved in the precinct level, I can hopefully encourage the Republican Party to start accommodating the Calipublicans, you know, because that is actually a large a name for the California Republicans that's becoming more aware and on social media. and conservative groups. And all of the candidates that are running that are speaking about being, fiscally conservative aren't really showing that by splurging campaign funds. So if we want to make sure that we're vetting our candidates properly and making sure that, we're supporting them throughout their success, especially if they're to challenge Gavin Newsom and actually give him a run for his money. If we want to win the state of California, this is the way to do it. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the last Republican that was elected here in the state of California in a recall election as well. A Democrat by the name of Gray Davis, who was the governor, he was recalled in 2003. Schwarzenegger came along, got a little bit over 40% of the vote in that special election because it's winner takes all. So you can win with 35% in the special election. He won with, like I said, a little bit over 40%, and he mainly won because of his money and his celebrity, appeal. Everybody already knew who he was. The Republican Party itself wasn't behind his candidacy, wasn't behind his campaign at all. And I don't think they ever really got on board with him at all. He more so just drove the party and ended up leaving and doing his own thing now. But he isn't really involved with the California Republican Party at all. And it's still being built up. So I have assimilated about 3 or 4 volunteers so far here in Fresno that would like to get involved with the precinct effort. And I have several other volunteers for my campaign throughout the state that would be interested in doing this as well. So the more I'm able to learn, the more I'll be able to pass on to my team, and hopefully we'll be able to drive the Republican Party here in the state to a victory.